Hello, statistics students. If you have enjoyed these videos about diving deeper into SPSS, but you still want to learn more, then let me tell you about some friends of mine from the UK who have some fantastic tutorials about SPSS. The website is Laerd Statistics, and I have found this website to be an ever-present help in times of statistical trouble, and I recommend it to any researcher who uses SPSS. Watch until the end of this video, and I will tell you how to get low-cost access to the entire site. Let's say you're looking for some help with your linear regression in SPSS. So you do what most people do. You ask the all-knowing internet for help. You will probably find some great videos on the topic. Hey, there's one now. But it is highly likely that no matter what SPSS test that you search for, you will find a tutorial from Laerd Statistics. Now, this website has free tutorials that are really good. They walk you through the test assumptions. They explain the concepts, and they show you exactly how to do the test in SPSS. But there is much more to this site. Let me take you behind the scenes and give you 5 reasons why I recommend this site to any statistics student or researcher. Full disclosure, this is not a paid endorsement, although I was given a complimentary access to the website after I had already purchased a 1-year membership. Reason 1. Greatest hits, next steps, and deep cuts. What types of SPSS tutorials can you find on the site? Here we have all of the greatest hits, everything you need for introductory statistics. We have independent and paired t-tests, correlation, linear regression, factorial and repeated ANOVAs, and chi-square, all of the basics. But then we have the next steps. Alternative forms of correlation, multiple regression, 1-, 2-, and 3-way ANOVAs, repeated measures ANOVAs, mixed ANOVAs, and COVAs, plus all of the non-parametric alternatives. And then we have the deep cuts. You can learn survival analysis, principal components analysis, Cronbach's alpha reliability, plus others like the McNemar test and the Jean-Carré-Terpstra test, which I have to admit I'd not heard of before. But I know what it is now. And then you have tutorials for creating charts and graphs in SPSS Chart Builder. And each tutorial includes the same example dataset that was used in the tutorial, so that you can follow along with each step as you learn. And by the way, many of these tutorials are available for Stata as well, although you can see that the choices are more limited. Reason 2. Help me decide. Yes, there are nearly 100 SPSS tutorials available. But that does you no good if you do not know which test that you need to use. Laerd has a handy statistical test selector to help you choose the appropriate statistical test. Start by choosing your study design. Are you looking for associations or predictions, or looking for differences between groups? And then you follow the prompts. In one of my other research projects, I'm using a within subjects design. Not sure about your design? Read about the various options to help clarify and make sure that you select correctly. How many independent variables am I using? I'll say 2. If you are working on your dissertation or any research proposal, would this tool not help you clarify your Chapter 1 description of your research design? And what type of dependent variable do I have? I'll go with continuous. Click the button, and Laerd Statistics tells you precisely what test you need. I need a 2-way repeated measures ANOVA. And now that I know that, I can go directly to that guide. Reason 3. Detailed analysis. This example is about linear regression. Look at the detail for this tutorial. Yes, the free tutorial was good, but look at this. Every tutorial has a table of contents that describes all of the steps that you're going to need to follow. And then it has a flow chart outlining the steps and decisions that you will need to make along the way. And as I mentioned before, you get an example data set so that you can follow along with each of these steps. Every tutorial shows you how to set up your data in SPSS so that you can run the appropriate test. You begin, as you should, checking assumptions for a test. Once you determine whether the assumptions have been met, if you discover problems, you will be told about your options for fixing them. Then you get the detailed procedure for conducting the test in SPSS, with plenty of screenshots. If your test requires a graph, that is explained too. When it is time to interpret and report the results, Laerd Statistics explains the output, sifting out the parts of the output that you do not need and helping focus on what you do need. Reason 4. Write it up. Here is something that most statistics textbooks neglect. How do you write the results of your statistical test? I use APA style, so I click on this option. This is how you might write up the significant findings for an independent samples t-test, such as you might for a class project. But in this example, all of the assumptions checked are mentioned, as well as the conclusions. You can model your entire write-up on what you learn from these tutorials. What kind of graph should I use to display my findings for my linear regression? I can learn how to create the scatter plot. The problem here, however, is that this plot is not in APA style. But I can learn how to change the appearance of the scatter plot to be suitable for publication. Reason 5. Affordability. Thank you for watching until the end. Remember that I promised you that I would tell you how to get low-cost access to the Laerd Statistics site. Considering that any stats textbook is going to cost you $100 or more, and that an SPSS subscription is $100 a month, you can imagine that access to all of this content is going to be pretty expensive. But if you go to statistics.laerd.com, link in the description below, and mention Research by Design YouTube channel, you get 6 months of access for only $12.99. What is that in pounds? Or euros? Or Canadian dollars? And if you go to statistics.laerd.com, link in the description below, and you don't mention the Research by Design YouTube channel, you still get 6 months of access for $12.99. That is the regular price. I also like that they do not do recurring charges. This site has helped me immensely over the years, and I wanted to give back a little by telling other people who are looking for statistical help. So those are my top 5 reasons why I began using Laerd Statistics and why I would recommend it to students who want to learn SPSS or researchers who want to expand their skills. Watch until the end of this video, and I will tell you how to get low-cost access to the entire site. Turns out it's the same cost regardless. It's already like $12 a month. Lesson 12, Top 5 Workflow Shortcuts in SPSS.